Just jack shit up from the very beginning. They don't close off the scene. So people are trampling through the scene. People start, and I mean like tourists and stuff, they start taking photos of the bodies and posting them on social media. It's fucking horrifying.
Please don't take pictures of crime scenes unless you're paid to do so by authorities.
Yeah, they're like literally posting them on fucking Facebook. It's just, I can't think of anything more horrifying. I mean, I can, but I wish I couldn't.
Yeah.
Then officers in Bangkok, like obviously hear about it. And they're like, literally, they don't say it like this, but they interview an officer in Bangkok. And he's basically like, yeah, that is you're embarrassing Thailand. Like, you're doing a shitty job.
Yeah.
They apologize to the families for the pictures getting out. And they send police like from the mainland on. Eventually, not right away, but eventually 60 officers are sent, like a couple by little. So police run DNA from Hannah's body, from cigarette butts. They don't talk about running from the murder weapon, but I'll get more into that later. So they run DNA from what they can find. And then the police tell the public, we have the DNA of 2 Asian men.
Okay.
That's what they come out and say. So then police, and I mean, this is by now there are 60 officers on the island from Bangkok. So the 60 officers, the police just start taking DNA from all the Asian men they can find on the island. Like they have footage, like they're just lining them up in the streets. Like no, they don't have any suspects. They're just like grabbing people and like, you look Asian, give us your DNA.
That's problematic.
There's a lot more problematic stuff. Rumors are spreading all over the island and on social media, blaming the, quote, Thai mafia for the murders.
Oh.
One family in particular. And I will say the way it was described. So they did a lot of interviews with people, Thai people and British people. And a lot of like British people like went there on vacation and decided to move there. And they were like that island, Koh Pao. Now I feel like I'm saying it wrong. It's described as this island that literally has no rules. People arrive on that, and they like tourists and all these British people say like they're like, you get there and there's no rules. And like everyone knows about the Thai mafia, and it's really just like rich families, but everyone knows which families are in charge, which families run things, who not to make mad. Like it's just like well known on this island, and there's just like no rules essentially. Like you can go there and you can party and drink and do whatever you want as long as you don't upset the Thai mafia, as they call them. Like it's just this island with no rules.
Me coming in as a tourist, get there, you can do whatever you want, but if you look the wrong way, you die. Yeah, let's move here. This sounds really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So rumors are spreading, blaming the Thai mafia. One family in particular, the name of the beach that they were found on, and I'm blanking the name and I should have written it down, but there's one family in particular that owns almost all the businesses across that beach.
Oh, like the hotel and different things? Or Okay.
So the family of the hotel owner is part of the Thai mafia, and that family, his family in specific, is on social media. Nothing, the police aren't saying anything. It's just people, all these rumors on social media and people being like, they fucking did it.
But why though? 2 random tourists?
Well, I'll get more into that.
Okay.
So, and then it's really weird. So all these photos start surfacing on social media of the owner of the hotel, that guy I talked about, with the cops. Like he's always there. He's in all these investigation photos. He's at the scene. He's with them when they question people. And so they interviewed the hotel owner on the documentary, and he's literally like, I was the first Thai person to see her. Like, duh, I was with the cops. That's not how investigations work. If you find a body, you don't get to. That's not just not how it works. Then you don't insert yourself. And then a lot
You're
of
not
people,
just part of the investigation. Like you get interviewed, but you're not just like helping them.
Yeah.
Like,
and then I was confused. So then I went to the YouTube comments because I was like, wait, he wasn't the first person to find. And people talked about that in the comment section, which is what I was banking on.
Because they told people told the hotel owner that there were people out there.
But he said I was the first Thai person. So people and this will matter too. People speculate maybe whoever found the body was a tourist or traveling, whatever, not Thai.
Well, no, and I will say that in Thailand and a variety of other places, the hospitality business is big. So a girl I went to high school with lives in Thailand, and she works in hospitality because there are so many British and American English-speaking tourists that go there. They will hire in the hotels maternal English speakers.
Yeah. But you can hear the like arrogance in his voice. And he's like, I was the first Thai person to see her. Like, of course I was involved. Again, not how investigations work.
Maybe in Thailand? Question mark.
So then, and this next part is from the documentary, and it's from Sean McKenna, the man I'm about to talk about, this is from like they interview him and they talk to him. So the police approach Sean McKenna, who's a British man who'd been living on the island. He knew David. And I couldn't tell. I don't know if he knew David before, or like they just met or whatever. But so according to Sean, the hotel owner and a few police officers approach him. The police don't talk at first, but the hotel owner goes up to Sean, but like there's police standing behind him. And he's basically like, hey, I know you killed them. I saw you covered in blood that night. Like you killed him.
Oh.
And this is all according to Sean.
Yeah, sure.
And then Sean says in the documentary, he says that the police then tell him, we know you killed her. You're going to hang yourself tonight or we're going to kill you. So Sean fucking leaves the island, which I don't blame him.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he died by suicide. I'm like, no.
No. So Sean is like,
too.
Bye, and gets on the next boat out of there. Police, of course, and this is, so their first motive, like when this first happened, they were like, oh, it was a jealous person who wanted to have sex with her, so he raped her. Now they're saying it's the friend. So police say that Sean left the island because he has something to hide. And Sean is like, I left because they were threatening to kill me.
So yeah, I have something to hide. It's my life because I'm afraid. So I'm out of here.
Meanwhile, police are still rando testing DNA, particularly focusing on the Burmese migrant population. So people from Burma, Myanmar, like both.
I think it's a racist profiling or something.
I literally wrote profiling.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So that's another thing.
Yeah.
A couple articles talked about this. So the island has a really big Burmese, like people from Burma, Myanmar.
Yeah.
Myanmar?
I think it's Myanmar.
Which is it? It's Myanmar, formerly known as Burma, right? Or is it the opposite? They're the same place, but one is the new name. I don't know. We don't know geology. But yeah, so there's a big Burmese migrant population. And yeah, police are like, let's focus on them and just DNA test all them. So Burmese men start calling a human rights organization.
Hell yeah.
Saying that they are being tortured by police, that they're being asked to confess. Some of them, and there's all these, it's horrifying. They show all these pictures in the documentary. And it's their word against the cops. So of course, cops are like, nah, fam, we didn't do shit. They're lying. But these people send this human rights organization all these pictures, and they had like boiling water thrown on them. So they just have cuts and horrible wounds all over their body.
I know this didn't happen in 2020, but I hate 2020 and I hate this.
Yeah.
I just hate it.
That's why I said holy shit is the only, this case is insane.
That's awful.
Days after, so of course this all comes out and police are like, nah, wasn't us. Like that, they just keep saying no. Days after these allegations surface, the police bring in 3 Burmese men. They bring them in because they saw, and there's footage. They show the footage. There's like a scooter that has 3 that's found on the Thai CCTV, and there's 3 Burmese men on it. So like just in the area.
On a single scooter or on?
Yeah, they're all in the same scooter.
Oh, really? I don't know why that strikes me as hilarious. It's like when people are in a big coat and they're like pretending to be
5 people. Oh,
yeah, 5 people in a coat or something, like being a taller person. I don't know. It's like 3 guys on a scooter.
But it's just like police see them on CCTV and they're like, hey, you guys are Asian and we have you on CCTV. You were out that night. So we're going to bring you in. And this is about to get very Central Park 5 vibey.
Oh, no.
So police bring them in. But remember, at this point, police have told, first of all, this is our third theory.
Yeah.
But police have told the public there are 2 Asian men. They have 3 people. So police bring in these 3 men. And they say they're bringing them in for immigration question. Like they want to make sure they're legit and they came over legally or whatever.
That's so profiling. Like,
yeah. But they let one go and keep the other 2. Why? I don't know. My guess, because they told the public there's only 2, so they had to choose. I mean, that's just totally, I'm diving into the conspiracy thing and totally speculating.
Yeah.
But that feels very Central Park 5-y, where you just round up everyone in the park and you go, oh, well, our story only fits 5. So like pick 15 of them and send them home and keep 5.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
So they keep 2 of them.
Either way, there's trouble amok.
Yeah. Police say that the men confess quickly and that their DNA is 100% match. So,
but what are the odds of some random dudes on scooters?
Right. So you picked them up not because they're suspects. The other thing, and they talk about this a lot in the documentary and in an article that I read, and I didn't even think about this, but first of all, I don't know how done a lot of cases. DNA is almost never 100%. It's never 100%.
Well, no, it can't be. But they can be like, yo, we're pretty certain it's this person.
But,
like, it's certain. But they never say 100%. They just go, we're certain it's them.
Right. Police are just adamant. It's 100% match. 100%. And then someone, like, they show a British forensic expert in the documentary, and he goes, that's not how DNA works. He goes, first of all, you're testing items. We already know it has Hannah's DNA and David's. And then you're saying 2 men. There's nothing 100% about any of this. It's just not how DNA works. And it was hard because from what I could tell, it was, again, this is me speculating. I don't know how it works in Thailand, but all of the articles in the documentary just kept saying the police were saying it was 100%. I don't know if they proved it or even had to prove it. Maybe they did, well, that's fair to bring up. It just kept saying that the police were saying it was 100% match. And I'll get more into that, but police just kept saying.
It doesn't necessarily mean it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or that they even tested it, or that, I guess we don't know if there's some sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like something happening in the police department. Corruption. Yeah. If there's some sort of corruption, thank you. Like, who's to say?
And the result, and that's another thing people brought up is the DNA test results came back like fucking snap of a finger fast. That's another thing that doesn't happen in DNA. It takes. That was weird.
You almost burped, but didn't. You reverse burped. Ew. Put it back down.
Put it back down.
Put it back.
So again, I'm doing
almost threw up.
No, it was like foam.
Put it back.
Again, this is a lot of me. I admit I do a lot of speculating in this case.
Yeah, but at least you admit it.
Yeah, but I'm just like, okay, you find 3 men just because you see them on CCTV.
And because they're Asian.
And 3 doesn't fit your theory because you already told everyone you have 2 DNA profiles. So then you send 1 home and you just luckily kept the 2 who did it. And then I'm just like, these poor 3 men, because what if they had picked another one and kept, it's just, you just pick 2 of them. That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, it seems at the very least it's fishy.
Yeah. So the 2 men, Zaw Lin and Wai Fio, they're both 25, they later say that police tortured them, assaulted them, threatened them, and made them sign confessions. And when asked about the DNA, they're like, I know they're saying it's ours, but that's impossible. Like,
they're like, we were convinced to confess.
Police say, nah, no torture. Their DNA is 100% match. We didn't touch them. And they even if you
didn't touch them, how'd you get their DNA? Boom!
Sarah just schooled you. Then they have I hate this guy. He is one of the cops in Bangkok and he's being interviewed and he's like, they never asked for a doctor. If they were being hurt, we would have taken them to a doctor, but they didn't ask to go to a hospital. What?
Yeah, because if I'm being tortured by authority figures and boiling water on me, I'm not going to be like, sir, can you please take me to a hospital?
When you're done.
Yeah, please.
Police, and this is one, because I want to present all the evidence. This part is interesting and might make you do a second think.
Okay.
Why Pio? Oh my God, I should have written it down phonetically because when I was reading the documentary, I wrote down how you spell his name and I was like, I'll remember. I think it's Wai Pio.
Okay.
He had David's phone. Police say he had David's phone because he stole it after killing him. Wai Pio said he found the phone on the beach.
Both could be true.
Yeah.
So that's a little weird.
It is weird. Another thing is when it comes out, when people are like, this whole thing is fishy, and it's asked that a third party, like the defense wants a third party to test the DNA. Police go, there's none left. We used all of it.
Naturally.
But police, and I'm jumping ahead a little bit, police do give because I'm talking about defense now. So obviously there's a trial. But police do say, okay, we'll give you the garden hoe. Like there's DNA left on that. So the defense has the garden hoe tested and they find David Miller's DNA, the victim, and an unknown man who does not match.
Was it the third scooter guy? Scooter man.
Unknown man. Didn't match anyone they had.
Okay.
So this is just all like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I will say about the phone thing, That was from, I want to say, now I'm drawing a blank. Yeah, the phone thing wasn't talked about that much. It was just a small blur because that piece of evidence made me like stop in my track because everything else is like, oh, these people are being railroaded. It's still hard to find. Like, I don't even know if Y. Payot said he found the phone or if police are just saying he says he found it and we think he